Hello and welcome to Mostly Sapphic Books, where I am on a mission to read every single book about lesbians. Normally I choose my books based on vibes, just what I feel like reading, and also what my library has available. But today I wanted to do something different. I thought this would be fun because I want to read every single book about lesbians. I have a very, very long and extensive TBR, and so I thought it would be fun to let a random number generator decide which book on my TBR I should read next. There's a couple rules to this challenge. One, the book has to be about lesbians. I do sometimes read other things. That's why this channel is called Mostly Sapphic Books. Some of the books on my TBR are not about lesbians, but probably like 95% of them are. So one, the book needs to be about lesbians. Two, my library has to actually have it. Because I'm not buying a book. Big fan of the library, big fan of Libby. That's what I'm using. If you have a library card, you can connect it to your Libby account and you can access your library's online catalog and you can check out anything at any time from the comfort of your own home. It is the best version of a library. It is an e-library. There are no possibility of overdue fees. Once your time's up, the book just gets sent back, or you can renew it and extend your time length. But I love Libby. Libby's the best. It's an app on your phone. It connects to your library card, your local library, if you have it in your country. I don't know all the countries, but look into it, Libby. It's incredible. It changed my life legitimately, and it saves me so much money, and I love Libby. So it has to have lesbians. My library has to have it, and it has to be available today. I don't want to put it on hold. So it has to be available to borrow at my library today, right now. And three, it has to be an audiobook, because I'm already reading a physical book and an ebook. I always have a physical book, an audiobook, and an ebook going at any time, and I just finished the audiobook of Dream On, Ramona Riley, so it is time for me to have a new audiobook. So let's get into it. Spoiler alert, if this works on the first try, it will be a miracle. A lot of these books my library does not have, or it is not available in the correct format, or whatever. I did a test run of this. We're looking at like 5 attempts before I can actually check out a book. Okay, this is my Goodreads account, Mostly Sapphic Books. You can follow me there if you are interested in written reviews instead of videos reviews, or also if you just want to see all the books I read and compare our book list. I love Goodreads. I know it's sponsored by Amazon, or owned by Amazon, and it's maybe not the most ethical book tracking site, but I've used it for so long and I love it. I am thinking of getting into Storygraph, so let me know if Storygraph is worth it. This is my Goodreads, Mostly Sapphic Books. You can follow me there. And this is my TBR, which, as you can see, is 726 books. And I have my random number generator set up from Google, from 1 to 726, and let's find one. Let's find a book. 215. It takes a while to find the right page, but here we are. Okay, 215, Thrust. What is that? I don't remember some of these books because they're old. Okay, it's a fencing romance. Thrust by Rachel Spangler. I highly doubt that my library has this. This has 124 reviews. So let's see if Libby has this at my library. Thrust, Rachel Spangler. Ooh, I've searched for it before, no results. Okay, like I said, attempt 1, big fail. Let's try again. 446. Okay, we're on the right page. The Ocean Bin Man. I think I remember this actually. This sounded interesting. It's like a monster. My library does not have this. I'm 99% sure. This has 13 reviews and 29 ratings. This actually does sound really good though. It's like a monster. A nuclear apocalypse monster story. That sounds rad as hell. Damn, I wish my library had this. Okay, next one. Let's go again. 256. 256. The Last Witch in Edinburgh. Ooh, 454 reviews. Blend witchcraft, queer love, a vibrant Edinburgh setting, and Scottish folklore. That sounds interesting. The Last Witch. Nope. It's already checked out. I can't check it out today. I have to put a hold on it. So round 3, fail. Round 4, I'm anticipating like 5 rounds. So let's see if we can do it in 4. 635. Going by Coastal by Dahlia Adler. I already read this. I don't know why this is on my TBR. I think sometimes like a book has like 2 editions and then they both get put on your TBR like twice. I'm scared to like cross this out because then will remove it from my shelf and I'm scared it will remove like the book I read. So I guess that's just on my TBR forever, even though I just recently read that. So round 5. 197. The Pros and Cons of Becoming a Superhero by Tara St. Pierre. 1 rating, 1 review. My library doesn't have this. I'm not even gonna fucking try. There's the description. Where do I hear about these books? Where did I hear about this book with 1 rating and 1 review? I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. I will read every book with lesbians. I will read any book that has lesbians in it. I don't care if literally no one else has read it, I will read it. 5-star rating though. Let's go. It's perfect. It's literally the best book. You can't get a higher rating than that. I'm sure that's not just the author giving their own book a review. Oh, it's not. Potentially. Okay, I think that is like maybe the publisher. But, you know, you do you, mama. Okay, round 6. We're taking longer than I thought. 657. Why does that sound familiar? Awakened by A.E. Osworth. This might be an arc. I don't know if this is out yet. Okay, it did just come out. Actually, that looks rad. A coven of trans witches battles an evil AI. Is it about lesbians though? Or is it just trans women? I'll read it if it's about trans women. We're on like round 7 or something. I've already lost track of what we're doing, so if this is lesbians, or even not lesbians, if it's queer, it was fine. If my library has it. Nope, it's on hold. Can't borrow it, have to find a hold for it. Let's go to round 8. 50. This is old shit. I don't even remember what could be up here. 50. Okay, Attack of the Lesbian Zombies. I don't think my library has this. 9 reviews. My library doesn't have this. I'm not gonna try. And I do vaguely remember putting this on my TBR because that sounds fucking rad. I think I added this in probably like 2012 or 13. That's some shit I would have immediately read in 2012 or 13 if I had library access to it. I don't. Round 9? What are we on? 360. The Burning Stars, the Kindom trilogy. Number 1 in a series, that's good. There was also a problem with maybe getting a sequel. Okay. These Burning Stars by Bethany Jacobs. This has promise. This has promise. Oh my god, we found a book. We did it. These Burning Stars by Bethany Jacobs. A dangerous cat-and-mouse quest for revenge, an empire that spans star systems built on the bones of a genocide, a carefully hidden secret that could collapse worlds, hunted by 3 women with secrets of their own, all collide in this twisty, explosive space opera debut, perfect for readers of Arkady Martine and Cameron Hurley, authors I have never read. June Ironway, rad name, hacker, con artist, and occasional thief, has gotten her hand on a piece of contraband that could set her up for life. Proof that implicates the powerful Nightfoot family in a planet-wide genocide 75 years ago. The Nightfoots control the precious Sevite that fuels interplanetary travel through 3 star systems, and someone is sure to pay handsomely for anything that could break their hold. Of course, anything valuable is also dangerous. The Kindom, the ruling power of the star systems, is inextricably tied up in the Nightfoot's monopoly, and they can't afford to let June expose the truth. They tasked 2 of their most brutal clerics with hunting her down, preternaturally stoic Kono, and brilliant hothead Essek, who also happens to be the heir of the Nightfoot Empire. My cat's mad now that she has my attention, even though that's what she wanted. But Kono and Essek are haunted in turn by a figure from their past, known only as Six. What Six truly wants is anyone's guess, and the closer they get to finding June, the surer Kono is that Six is manipulating them all. It's a game that could destroy their lives and devastate the stars, and they have no choice but to see it through to the end. Okay. Thruple? Cool sci-fi, sounds like. Well, I don't know if it's cool yet, I haven't read it, but I'm gonna read it. Let's borrow it. Yay! It's a series, now I have to read the whole series. I love that for me. That's what I wanted to do. Wasn't really that interested in the sci-fi series, but let's go, why not? But that's the fun of this, because I just would have picked something. I probably would have picked like a really cheesy romance novel or something, because that's what I just read, that's what I've been in the mood for. So let's do some sci-fi, let's hope it's good. It was good. No thruple though. Actually, there is a thruple in the second book, but that was with 3 different characters who aren't mentioned at all in the first book's description that we read, so that was pure coincidence. It was also 2 men and a woman, so not what I wanted. Although one of those men did previously have a female gender marker and talked about maybe changing it again, so like maybe there's something sapphic there, a little bit. But anyway, it is several days later. I have not only read These Burning Stars, but I've also read the second book in the trilogy, On Vicious Worlds. The third book is not out yet. It comes out later this year. It's called This Brutal Moon. That's the last book. I wish all 3 had been out when I had read this, because there's a lot going on. This is very extensive sci-fi, and I'm not gonna remember jack shit when the third book comes out, to be honest with you. But I will read that third book. I did like this series. So when I read the description, I didn't take in any of that. It all went in one ear and out the other. So I'll give my own brief recap in my words. So we have this hot evil MILF, Essek Nightfoot, who is both a powerful figure in the government, but she's also powerful in her family. She's from like a rich family with a lot of influence. She's like in line to be the heir of the family and like control a bunch of the trade and industry, and she's super rich. She's also a religious figure in the government. So the government has like 3 branches. There's like the secretaries who are like managerial stuff, and then you have the religious order and the like assassin order. But Essek is part of the religious order, but she's not like super religious or like what you'd expect from the religious order. She also trains a lot of the assassins and stuff. So when she first gets promoted to her government position, she goes to this like kin school. It's called the Kindom trilogy. That's where they live. The Kindom, not the kingdom. I think I said kingdom in the first part of this video, but it's the Kindom. She goes to this school where these students are trained to be government officials if they can pass it. It's very brutal and like hard. And while she's there, she sees this child prodigy who's the heir, not an heir, who's a descendant of this like other really important family, and she is just like obsessed with this kid and like the potential in them. And their name is 6. That's actually their number, because the children are treated absolutely terribly and they just get assigned numbers. Despite being incredibly impressed with this child, she basically just shoots them down and tells them that, you know, she's not impressed with them. They have to do something to impress her, which like changes the course of that child's entire life. And then they get hellbent on like sort of revenge and like sort of impressing her and sort of like overshadowing her because she's mean to them. She does this in the mean way. It's like a tough love kind of thing. But anyway, that's kind of a flashback. And then in the present day, we have Essek, who's older. She's a hot evil MILF. She's not a MILF because she doesn't have kids. She's just a hot evil cougar. I think she's straight, tragically. She talks about having like a lot of hookups and like random lovers, but I think they're all men and like younger men. But that was absolutely tragic because she also has she has a whole class of novitiates, but she has Chono, who I called Kono because I can't fucking read, I guess. But she has like this super novitiate, like her real prize novitiate named Chono, who was also a child at that kin school. She was another child that Essek was impressed with, but not as much as 6. So Chono's like 18, 19. She's young. She's a young woman who comes to work with Essek for the clerisy. She's a religious figure. And then it's really about the 2 of them trying to track down 6, who actually dropped out of the school and is like terrorizing people and like leaving them notes, leaving Essek notes, and you know, trying to do all these things to impress her and evade her and like think 2 steps ahead of her. So that's one storyline, and then you have the storyline of the Nightfoot family that Essex is a part of and is about to lead. They were implicated, actually not implicated, in a genocide of this certain race of people, and someone has evidence that her family was involved in that massacre and like getting a bunch of people killed, and if that got out, that would like ruin her family. So there's all these themes of oppression and genocide and government and powerful family and influence and things like that. And then the second book carries on. I won't talk too much about the second book because there's like some spoilers, obviously. But the second book is more about the descendants of the people involved in the massacre and them trying to start a new life. And then you have more political shenanigans going on. It's a really extensive sci-fi world. I really like it. It's very fleshed out. My tip for the first book is to pay attention to the dates. Every chapter starts with a date that places it, because we are doing a lot of jumping back and forth, and we're jumping between perspectives, and the dates are important, and I never fucking remembered the dates. And sometimes I would get a little bit confused about, is this a flashback? Wait, how long ago was this? And then there's also like twists and turns that you have to like match up on the timeline. It totally recontextualizes the timeline. And so this would be a good book to reread, especially this first book, because like you get all these twists, and you have to go back and like really see to like really know what was actually happening. You have to like reread it and like figure it out. And I think this book does a good job of treating the reader's intelligence with respect. It doesn't handhold everything for you. It's very accessible, it's very readable. It's not really that confusing at all, especially if you just pay attention to the numbers that it gives you so that you can pay attention to them. So it's pretty accessible, but it also doesn't hold your hand for every little thing. It lets you come to conclusions on your own and like connect things and put the pieces together and like build the bigger picture for yourself, which is really cool, and it feels very involved as a reader. And that's a good way to disseminate all of that information and like all of these character traits and all of these things going on. And it gets you involved and interested in the story. I wasn't like super duper incredibly engrossed, obsessed with this. It was like a lot. Especially reading these back to back, it was like 30 hours. I read the audiobooks. It was like 30 hours of like sci-fi politics, which is like a lot to take in all at once and back to back. So maybe actually a break between the third book is fine with me. But I will forget everything immediately. I can't go through everything in this video because it would take a long time. And I'd probably have to reread it to like really understand all of the context. But this would be a good series to reread. Probably, especially maybe after the third book. The second book didn't have kind of the big twists that the first one has, which was a little disappointing, but like, it's fine. I think I did enjoy the first book more. I'd say the first book was 5 stars, and then the second book was like 4 stars. You're introduced to some new characters in the second book. I liked most of them. I'm pretty interested in all of these storylines. There's not too many. This book to me felt very reminiscent of the First Sister trilogy by Lyndon A. Lewis, which is another good sci-fi trilogy. And again with that one, I think the first book was definitely my favorite. So we have a lot of the same thing. There's like a corrupt government. We're in space traveling between planets. There's like a religious caste. The first sister, the titular first sister of that book, is like sort of a nun figure who helps the soldiers. It's kind of fucked up. There's a lot of the same themes of like religion and politics and mistaken identities and, you know, deception and things like that. Maybe I like the First Sister a little more, but I think the First Sister trilogy, that goes downhill. First book 5 stars, second book 4 stars, third book was like 3 stars. Because by the third book there was like 18 million characters that all get point of views, and it was just like a lot. This book, On Vicious Worlds, this sequel to These Burning Stars, did not have 10 million characters to follow. We just like add a couple. I think we've even like subtracted one from the original. So it's like, it's a healthy number of characters to where you can really get invested in these people and their perspectives, and you're not jumping everywhere all of the time. So I think the first book in the First Sister trilogy I maybe liked a little more than this book, but I think I'm gonna like the sequels to these books more than I liked the sequels to the First Sister trilogy. After I read These Burning Stars, I went online looking for like These Burning Stars explained YouTube video, because I thought there's so many cool twists that I thought it would have been interesting to see someone like really analyze all of those details and point out things you definitely missed the first time around because you didn't know to look for them. Oh, that video doesn't exist. Tragic. I did see one video by a creator called Books with Zara, who did an interesting analysis of like the themes of this book. And she made a really well-spoken video. That's not, this video is not gonna be that. As soon as I watched that video, I was like, oh, mine's not gonna be that. I'm not even gonna try to like tackle the issues of the themes and the writing style. I will say the writing style is good. I talked about the way they show information rather than tell it. I do think this author is very talented. Good world building, good prose, good character work. They handle this really well, and I really believe that they've fleshed out this world and they really understand what's happening and have a good handle on it and a good grasp of what they're doing and where this is going. So the writing is good. So instead of talking anything about the technical aspects or the creative aspects or the thematic aspects, I'm just gonna talk about the gayness. I guess I did spend longer than I thought talking about like the actual writing style and sort of the plot mechanisms and things like that. But anyway, the gayness, this is a very queer-friendly world, especially in terms of gender. There are definitely gay people. One of the characters I didn't even mention, who is in the description of the first book, is June Ironway. She's like a hacker who's also like trying to gather information on the Nightfoot family and their corruption. But she's a lesbian. She has a partner who's like a disabled veteran runaway assassin who's being tracked down by the military unit she left, basically. And that's cool. They're cool. I think they get the only sex scene in the first book, which is, you know, gay rights. Hell yeah. And then I think they get another sex scene in the second book. And then there's that throuple scene. This is not a sex-heavy book. This is not like explicit smut. We're definitely like in sci-fi political world shenanigans. And those little moments of like love and downtime are just little moments that really ground these characters and show you the stakes of them wanting to protect those close to them, and showing like where their priorities lie and what they're willing to risk and who they're willing to sacrifice, and you know what their boundaries are in this game of very high stakes. So there is some gay people. It's actually not as like sapphic as I thought it was going to be. I mean, we have those two lesbians. I really thought Essek, the hot, horny MILF, would at least be bisexual. Like, I kept waiting for one of these like young lovers she has in her room to be a woman, and I'm pretty sure it never happened. And then I kept waiting for her to get with Chono, who's like her apprentice. They have like kind of weird chemistry. Like, Essek's like a mean teacher in a way, but like Chono really is like drawn to her, and like it's not a healthy relationship, but it's really interesting the way that Chono and Six are like both so preoccupied with impressing Essek, and you know, are ingrained in her life even if she's not quite good for them, but she also is like a really brilliant teacher and like a brilliant evil tactician in a way. She's not like evil, she's very morally gray. She's like a main character, and so we're sort of rooting for her in a way, even though we recognize that she's very morally gray. She has a temper. She will just kill people if she feels like it, and it won't cause her any major problems to do so if she deems the person insignificant enough. So we have some cool, morally gray characters who are really interesting. But I kept waiting for Chono and Essek to be like an age gap teacher-student lesbian relationship. That didn't happen. I think Chono might... Well, I don't know if Chono's straight, because Chono and Six have a thing. Six is non-binary. Like, I think we're getting something there, but I think I was also waiting for the throuple with Essek. You know, the hot evil teacher and her two best students who hate her but love her at the same time. That didn't happen. I mean, probably for the best, because it wasn't going to be healthy, and also Essek did first meet them as children and like make an impression on them as children. She was not trying to seduce them. It's not that kind of story. But as adults, she is sort of very caught up in them. And 6 especially, she is like foaming at the mouth to get to 6 and to see this child reach their potential, even though they're an adult now in most of this book. So disappointing, but like that's just what I wanted. That's not the story the author wanted to tell, and it's not a flaw. Other aspects of queerness, gender stuff is really pretty advanced, at least for us. The gender stuff is really cool. There's a lot of people who are non-binary or have changed their gender marker. I think they like literally wear a gender marker. Yeah, because there's at one point where someone is wearing like it says a gender marker that they don't want to be seen from far away. And so it must be like a literal like badge or something. That's what I was picturing. Some of this is, I don't know if it's hard to picture. I guess it's sort of said vaguely. So they have like, I think they can like telepathically communicate, but it's like texting. So you could just like send someone a message. And then in the second book, there's like some cool battles in the digital realm. That's the way I'm gonna describe it. That's the way I pictured it. But it's like the neural network, and like June Ironway's a hacker. They're called casters, and they can like go into the code. I don't know, man. I'm not a tech person, and I'm not a sci-fi tech person in this world, so like I don't know what I'm talking about. But some of it's just said kind of vaguely, like you get an idea. It's not like over-explained in like every little detail of every little technological advancement they have. It's just kind of normal, which I kind of like, because they live in this world where it's just like normal to them. Like you just send someone a comm. Like we wouldn't explain texting, you know. You send a text, it's texting. We know what texting is. They know what comms are, and like the neural network does. And so they're not gonna explain it, because like everyone knows that shit already. But they're pretty cool with gender, and like you can change your gender marker at any time. There's a villain in this, Seti Moonback, who like every time you see them has a different gender marker. Not every time, but our protagonists are like, okay, what gender is this bitch gonna be today? That's funny. So you have like gender fluid people. Again, you have people who, like that guy in the threesome who used to be a woman. I don't know, I think they were a man and then a woman and then a man, and they were debating maybe going back to being a woman someday. So like that's all pretty chill. You can do whatever. Very queer positive world for sure. No real transphobia. Like Seti Moonback, who keeps changing their gender, is like another high-ranking official, both a good family and part of the government. And so like no one gives a fuck. It's not like discriminated against. So it is a very queer positive world, even though it wasn't quite as queer as I thought. But I was just expecting everyone to be a lesbian. That's how I go into every book. Every female character is a lesbian. Oh, and that's not true in this book. Tragically. Awful. Man. But there were lesbians and queer people, so this is a good queer sci-fi read for sure. I do recommend it. I recommend reading it closely. I recommend rereading it. I recommend paying attention to the dates. Because it literally says, it even has like a name for every year. Like the year of the crux. And I literally never like kept it straight of what was what and when was when. I don't know. I think a physical copy would be good for this, because you could go back and see like what year was that scene in, and like what's the name of this year, and like when did this happen, and like you could piece it together a lot easier if you had the text, and you could flip through and like skim the chapters and be like, oh yeah, this section was in this year and this happened after this or before this. And yeah, the audiobook was good though, the narrator's good, whatever. But anyway, good book. I do recommend it if you're into hard sci-fi. I will be reading the 3rd book. I don't know if I'll make a video on it, cause like spoilers. And also, I won't remember what's happened in the first 2 books, and so like what qualifications do I have to talk about the 3rd one? Probably not a lot. But that comes out in November 11th, 2025. I will revisit this world then. And maybe you will read it after that, when all 3 are out, and you can binge them back to back and remember things. Maybe someone else will make a video explaining things. Not me. That's probably what you were looking for when you clicked on a video about this book. My bad.